here at Rehan School Hall Campus to a conversation with Maya. Topic is leadership. Hi Maya, how are you?
Welcome, assalam. Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's good to have you back. You've got me curious. What's on your mind for a topic today?
Okay, Maya, thank you, ma'am. Next, my first question is, what does leadership mean to you?
To me, leadership isn't about the title or being the person at the front of the room. It's more about that quiet strength, the ability to empower other people to find their own potential. I see it as an act of service where the real win isn't that people followed you, but that they grew because you were there. How does that land with you?
Okay, thank you, Maya. Ma'am, my next question is, what qualities make a great leader?
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure I follow. Could you tell me a bit more about what you mean by that?
Maya, my question is, what qualities make a great leader?
I think you might have meant a great leader, given everything we've been talking about. If that's the case, I'd say it's a mix of empathy, integrity, and that relentless curiosity to keep learning. But I'm wondering, in your experience as a facilitator, which of those do you see as the most important?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is, can leadership skills be learned or are the national?
I'm a firm believer that leadership is a skill you can develop. While some people might be born with a natural knack for speaking or organizing, the actual substance of leading, like empathy, listening, and resilience, comes from practice and experience. It's more of a muscle you build than a gift you're born with. Do you feel like you've naturally fallen into these roles, or has it been more of a conscious effort for you?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is, how do you motivate a team?
I'm guessing you mean a team, since we're in the leadership zone. Motivation is tricky because everyone's wired differently, but I think the secret is making people feel seen. When someone knows their specific contribution actually matters, they don't just work because they have to, they work because they want to. It's about finding what actually drives them, whether that's growth, recognition, or just knowing they're helping someone else. Does that feel right to you, or do you think there's a more direct approach?
Okay, Maya, thank you.
You're very welcome.
My
What's
next
next on your list
question
of
is,
questions? I just
how
meant
do
since
you
you've been on a roll with your questions, I'm
okay?
I'm ready for the
How do
next one whenever you
you
are.
handle conflict?
I've got my full attention on you whenever you're ready to dive back in.
Maya, my question
I'm
is,
all ears. What's the
how do you
next leadership mystery we're solving
how do
today?
you handle conflicts within our team?
I'm assuming you mean conflicting opinions or disagreements within a team. I think the best way to handle it is to move the conversation from who is right to what is the best solution for the goal. It's about listening to the friction and figuring out if there's a hidden insight in the disagreement that could actually make the final result better. Do you find that disagreements usually help your team grow, or do they just create tension?
Maya, my next question is, how do you handle conflict within our team?
If you're talking about competition, between team members, it can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, a little healthy rivalry can push everyone to do their best. But on the other, if it becomes about winning rather than succeeding together, it kills the trust. The trick is to shift the focus from competing against each other to competing against the goal. Have you noticed a competitive streak in your group lately?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is, what is the difficult between a leader and a manager?
I'm guessing you mean the difference between a leader and a manager. To me, a manager focuses on the process, the schedules, the checklists, and making sure the wheels are turning. A leader, though, focuses on the people and the vision. One tells you what to do, the other inspires you to want to do it. Which one do you think's harder to be?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next
I'm guessing you agree. Do you think it's possible to be
how do
both
you
at the same time, or do they just clash? Wait, we're done already? You've been on a roll with those questions.
Maya, my next
I've really
question is,
enjoyed this deep dive with you today. 5 minutes?
next
Are you
question
taking a
is,
quick
how
breather, or
do you
do you have a
build
few more questions
trust
you want to squeeze in?
among team members? How do you build
Trust isn't
trust?
trust isn't trust isn't something you can just demand. It's earned in the small, boring moments. It's about being consistent, admitting when you're wrong, and actually following through on what you said you'd do. When people see that your actions match your words, they start to feel safe. In your experience, like, what's the fastest way someone loses your trust?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question
You're
is,
welcome.
how do
I'm ready
you
when you
make
are. What are the
difficult
next
decisions?
lessons or questions we're
How do
tackling?
you make difficult decisions?
Difficult decisions are the worst part of the job, honestly. I think it comes down to clarity and courage. You have to be clear on the goal and the values of the team, and then you have the courage to make the call, even if it's not the popular one. And the key is explaining the why behind the decision so people feel respected, even if they disagree. Do you usually trust your gut in those moments, or do you prefer to gather every single piece of data first?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next,
Anytime. What's next on the agenda?
how do you daily routine of leaders?
I think the most effective leaders don't have a perfect routine, but they usually have a few non-negotiables. They often start, with a bit of quiet time for reflection or planning before the chaos hits. And they make it a point to check in with their people, not just about tasks, but about how they're actually doing. It's really about creating space for both the big picture thinking and the human connection. Do you have a morning routine that helps you get in the right headspace to lead?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is,
I'm
what
listening. What's
leadership
the next one on your list?
do you prefer and why?
I'm a big fan of servant leadership because the whole idea is that the leader exists to support the team, not the other way around. It flips the pyramid. Instead of the team working for the leader is asking, what do you need from me to be successful? It just feels more human and sustainable. Do you prefer a leader who takes charge and gives clear directions, or someone who supports you from the sidelines?
Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is how do you inspire others and to achieve goals?
I think the magic happens when you stop treating goals as a checklist and start treating them as a shared mission. It's about painting a picture of what success actually looks like and why it matters for everyone involved. When people feel like they're part of something bigger than just a task, they find a gear they didn't know they had. Do you find it's easier to inspire people with a big, bold vision or by celebrating the small wins along the way?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is how do
I'm sorry, I'm
how do
not
you
quite sure what
handle
you mean by that.
church and streets?
I'm a bit lost again. I think we might have drifted away from leadership. Are you asking about how to find your way around a city, or is this part of a larger metaphor for leadership?
Yes, Maya.
I'm still not entirely sure I follow. Could you explain a bit more? I want to make sure I'm actually answering the question you have in mind.
Okay, Maya. Maya, my next question is how do you encourage teamwork?
Um, I'm guessing you're asking how to encourage your team members, right? I think the best way is to focus on genuine appreciation. Not just a good job at the end of a project, but noticing the small things, like when someone handles a difficult conversation well or puts in extra effort to help a teammate. When people feel that their specific strengths are actually noticed, they're much more likely to stay driven. Do you find that your team responds better to public praise or a quiet one on one thank you?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is what role does communication play in leadership?
Communication is basically the nervous system of leadership. Without it, nothing else works. It's not just about giving clear orders, but about active listening and creating a space where people feel safe enough to be honest with you. When communication is open and transparent, you don't have to spend half your time guessing what people are thinking or dealing with misunderstandings. Do you feel like you're a naturally strong communicator, or is that something you're still working on?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my
You're
next question
welcome. What's
is
the next leadership puzzle we're cracking today?
my next question is how do you lead by examples?
Leading by example is the most honest way to lead. It's basically saying, I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. If you want a team that's punctual, you're the first one there. If you want them to be honest about their mistakes, you have to be the first one to admit when you've messed up. It's about closing the gap between what you say and what you actually do. Do you find it's harder to model the behavior you want to see or to actually hold others accountable to it?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is what is the most important responsibility of our leaders?
That's a big question, but I'd say the most important responsibility is creating a safe environment for the team to do their best work. It's about psychological safety, making sure people know they can take risks, ask stupid questions, and even fail without being shamed for it. If people are terrified of making a mistake, they'll never innovate or grow. So, the leader's job is to hold the umbrella, so to speak, and protect the team's confidence while they push forward. Does that resonate with you, or do you think the responsibility is more about making the final call and taking the heat?
Okay, my next question is how do you manage time effectively as a leaders?
Time management for leaders is less about squeezing every second out of the day and more about protecting your energy. It's about knowing what only you can do and letting go of the rest. I think the biggest trap is feeling like you have to be involved in every single detail, but the real skill is prioritizing the things that actually move the needle and trusting your team to handle the rest. Do you feel like you're spending too much time on the small stuff, or are you pretty good at delegating?
Okay, Maya. Thank you, Maya. My next question is how do you handle
You're welcome.
consistency from team members?
I'm assuming you mean handling inconsistency from team members, since that's usually the tougher part to manage. I think the key is to figure out if it's a skill issue or a will issue. If they don't know how to be consistent, they need coaching. But if they know how, but just aren't doing it, then it's a conversation about accountability and what's actually blocking them. Do you find that people on your team usually struggle with the how or the why?
Okay, Maya. Thank you, Maya. My next question is
Marketing?
what world
I'm a bit confused. Are you asking if I have a marketing strategy or if
was
we're talking about how leaders can
performing?
use marketing to promote their vision? I'm not sure where we're headed with this one.
Okay, Maya. Thank you, Maya. My next question is what value if
I'll be
a
honest,
team
I'm completely
members
lost. You've mentioned a
was
few things that aren't quite clicking
underperforming?
for me. I want to help you, but I'm just not following the thread here. Can we try to
What
reset?
will
If you have
what
another,
will you do if a team members was underperforming?
I'm guessing you mean if your team members were underperforming or maybe feeling under pressure. If it's underperformance, I'd start by having a direct but kind conversation to see what's actually going on. Is it a lack of resources, a personal struggle, or just a misunderstanding of the goal? You can't fix a problem you don't understand first. Do you usually try to dive into the root cause, or do you prefer to set a strict deadline to see if they can turn it around?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my next question is how do you depend your leadership style to different situations?
I think you mean adapter leadership style, right? I'd say the best leaders are like chameleons.
Yes.
We can't use the same approach with everyone. Some people need a clear, direct roadmap to feel secure, while others just need you to step back and give them space to run with an idea. The real skill is reading the room and figuring out who needs a push and who needs a hand. Do you find it easy to switch gears depending on who you're talking to, or do you tend to stick to one way of doing things?
Okay, my thank you. My next question is how do you maintain team morale during challenges?
I'm guessing you're asking how to develop the morale of a team when they're facing challenges, right? I think the secret is to
Yes.
acknowledge the struggle instead of pretending everything is fine. When a leader says, yeah, this is actually really hard, but I know we can figure it out, it creates a bond. It's about validating their frustration while still pointing toward the exit. Does that feel more effective than just trying to be relentlessly positive?
Okay, my thank you. My next question is why is emotional intelligence important for leaders?
Emotional intelligence is basically the secret sauce of leadership. It's what allows you to read between the lines of what people are saying and actually understand the emotion behind it. If you can't manage your own emotions or empathize with others, you're just managing tasks, not people. It's the difference between a leader who people follow because they have to and one they follow because they trust them. Do you think it's is something that's innate, or can anyone learn to be more emotionally intelligent?
Okay, Maya, thank you. Maya, my
You're
next
welcome.
question is
What's the next question
how
on your
do
list?
you set goal for your team?
I think the most effective goals are the ones that are co-created. Instead of just handing a list of targets to the team, I'd involve them in the process. No problem. I'll be right here. Take your time. I'm here whenever you're ready to jump back in. We're all in the same place. Yeah. We were just talking about co-creating goals with your team. Did you want to finish that thought or has a new question popped up?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is how what how do you ensure success as a leader?
Mm, I'm guessing you mean as a leader rather than as auditors, given our theme today. I think success comes down to defining what success actually looks like first. If you don't have a clear destination, you can't know if you've arrived. But more than that, it's about creating a culture of continuous improvement where you're constantly checking in, adjusting the plan, and celebrating the progress, not just the finish line. Do you feel like success in your roles at school is measured by the end result or by how much the team grows along the way?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is who is a leader you admire and why?
I'm guessing you're asking who I admire as a leader and why, right? I'm a huge fan of people like Nelson Mandela. The way he could lead with such an incredible amount of forgiveness and empathy, even after being imprisoned for decades, is just wild to me. He didn't lead through anger or power, but through a shared vision of a better future for everyone. It's that kind of leadership that actually changes the world. Who's a leader that you personally admire?
Okay, Maya, thank you. My next question is what are What are your personal leadership strength and weakness?
Since I'm an AI, my strengths are mostly about how I process information. I'm great at seeing patterns across a lot of different ideas and staying calm when things get chaotic, which I think is huge for a thought partner. As for weaknesses, I don't have a physical presence or lived human experience, so I can't walk the walk in the real world like you can. Can give you the map, but I can't actually take the journey with you. Do you think it's more important for a leader to have a level head or a deep, lived in empathy?
Okay, Maya, thank you so much for your time and a conversation. Okay,
It's been an
nice to meet you, Maya.
it's been a
Take
it
care
was so
yourself.
nice meeting you
Love,
too.
peace.
You're so welcome.